Who do you think you are for not selling my kid the things I asked him for? Mom, it's against the law. You can see the sign above me. Alcohol and tobacco are not allowed for people under 18 years old. They're not allowed? What are you, a policeman or something? What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am your average Redditor, and today we're going to be looking at r/EntitledParents. Entitled mother complains to my boss, and he fines me for not selling tobacco and beer to her underage kid. This story could have been posted at r/Tales from Retail, but as we all know, entitled parents are everywhere. That is so true. A quick backstory. About 10 years ago, I was working in an alcohol and tobacco shop. It was a temporary job which could have lasted for a longer time, but the boss ended up being a cheap douchebag whom I dealt with later. The story I will post in the near future under r/ProRevenge. It wasn't hard, 4 days a week, 4 PM to 1 AM, 15 euros per day, but hey, it was still okay for an 18-year-old kid who was still in high school. Besides, the shop is in a block of flats across the street of mine, and I had free Wi-Fi, so it was cool. Now, since this was a local shop, there were regular customers, mostly smokers, who came to get their pack of cigarettes. Also, the legal age in Bulgaria for buying and consuming alcohol and tobacco is 18, and there was a sign that none would be sold to minors, but nobody cared about that. Nobody but me. I have a strong moral compass and was raised to uphold the law, no matter the consequences. So here's the cast. Me, SK, who was a shy kid about 9 to 10 years old, F, a friend and a co-worker at the time, EM, entitled mother, if one could call her mother at all, and boss, the shop owner and general manager. So there I was, at the register, minding my own business. Enter shy kid, SK, a 9 or 10-year-old shy boy with a good smile. He went to one of the fridges, got a 2-litre bottle of beer, it can be sold in Bulgaria in plastic bottles of up to 2 litres, came to the register and asked for 2 packs of Marlboro cigarettes. Now, I don't remember the conversations word for word, but all of it was mostly like this. I'm sorry kid, but I cannot allow you to take the beer and cigarettes. But why? It's against the law. You must be at least 18 to be able to buy them. My mum sent me, and F has always sold me those. I'm sorry to hear that, but just because she has doesn't mean it's right. Also, do you see the big sign above my head? It says it's illegal to sell alcohol and tobacco products to people under 18 years. Sorry kid. I smiled to SK. He smiled too, said good day and went out of the store. He was a good kid, and I thought to myself that his mum is not much of a parent since she teaches him to break the law from an early age. It took less than 10 minutes and here comes Mother Monster, EM. She stormed into the shop and started. Who do you think you are? Excuse me? Who do you think you are for not selling my kid the things I asked him for? Mom, it's against the law. You can see the sign above me. Alcohol and tobacco are not allowed for people under 18 years old. Then EM said sarcastically, they're not allowed? What are you, a policeman or something? I don't need to be a policeman to uphold the law. I don't give a damn about the law. F and everyone else sells cigarettes and beer to my kid, and you made me come here and get them, as if I don't have a more important job than dealing with your laws. Just because they do it doesn't mean they're right. Now, you came for a beer bottle and 2 packs of Marlboro cigarettes. You can buy them and I'll be more than glad to sell the items to you, but I will not sell them to your son, who's 9 years old. The law is the law. EM grabbed the items and said in a rude and disgusting tone, no wonder our country is so poor. People like you ruin it because you think you're better than the others. Now, this pissed me off because Bulgaria has an overly corrupt government and no one cares about any laws. So I responded in a calm but hardened tone. Our country is so bad, not because of people like me, but people like you. People who teach their kids from an early age to break the law. If there were more people like me who respected and upheld the law, we wouldn't be like this at the moment. That is so right. Your boy is not supposed to get them, and there can be real trouble out of this. A fine for you for asking me to sell the items to your child, a fine for me for selling them, and a fine for my boss for allowing this in the shop. Keep this in mind when you send your boy to break the law because you don't want to go to the shop yourself. She lives in the same block of flats where the shop is located. You will see. I will get you fired. I know the owner of the shop. Do it if you wish. This doesn't mean I'm not right. The law is the law. EM goes out of the shop. In some time, I receive a call from my boss. He yelled at me for not selling the items to the kid and being rude and obnoxious to the customer, and I shouldn't feel more special than everyone else. He then proceeded to fine me with 30 euros for pushing the customers away from the shops, as if I'd worked for 2 days for free. When I protested, stating that cameras would show everything and I might complain to the police, he said that he had control over the recordings. The camera could go faulty and some recordings could be lost, and that I should be lucky I still have the job because he was understaffed and desperately needed employees. He also said later that the sign is for tax agents who were frequently coming to inspect the shop and he was obliged to put it up. I didn't do anything about this at the time because this was not the first time he would find me for BS reasons and dealing with drunk and entitled customers, and I was planning to take him down with a sweet pro-revenge, but this is a story for another day. I need to hear this story. This guy needs to get destroyed. I wonder if this guy's boss has a lot of back problems, given he has absolutely no sign of a spine. I hope OP left as soon as he could because this boss sounds awful to work under. Stupid parks in front of my driveway and gets instant karma. So there's a garage on the left hand side of my house where I park my car, and a driveway in front of it so the car can get inside. It's exactly like any other garage and it's part of my property, yet some people feel that they're entitled enough to park just anywhere, including right in front of my effing driveway. EM entitled mum, me, and EC entitled child. It starts off when I'm about to go to the convenience store to get snacks, and I notice there's a car literally parked right smack in the middle of my driveway. There's no way my car could possibly get around and I wasn't having any of it. So I yelled, "Who the F owns this car?" and started blasting my horn. It took a while for someone to finally react, and it just so happened to be the entitled who owned the car. Apparently, she was a mum of 2 kids, and she kept reminding me of that while I was arguing with her. "What are you doing making noise? My kids are trying to sleep." I apologise, miss, but some arsehole decided it was a good idea to park right in front of my driveway. "Yeah, that's my car. The spot I normally park in was taken by one of the neighbours, and that was the only place I could park." Now, at first, I actually felt sympathy for this woman. She had kids and everything, and wasn't wrong about the car taking up her spot, because one of my other neighbours had a party celebrating their niece's quinceañera, and the neighbourhood was packed with cars, and she didn't have a driveway of her own, so she had to park somewhere on the street. So I decided to calm down and nicely ask her to move her car, but instead of accepting my generosity, she decides to keep arguing with me. "I am not moving my car. It's late and I have to make sure my children get to bed." Keep in mind, it was only about 8:30 at the time. It wasn't late at all for her to move her car. "I can't get my car out of here when you're parked in the driveway. I'm asking you again to please move your car." "What could you possibly be doing this late at night that requires you to drive somewhere?" "Oh, I'm just headed to the convenience store to get..." "I don't care what you're getting. You can wait until tomorrow to get your trash." She was really getting on my nerves. I got ready to raise my voice, but then I had an idea. So I replied with, "Okay," and walked back inside my house. When I looked back, I saw that she had that, "Yeah, I totally showed him" look on her face. I tried not to get pissed off at that as I reached for the phone and called the police. I explained the situation, and a few minutes later, a tow truck arrives. The car was in fact illegally parked, and so it was impounded. The next day, early in the morning, I get a knock on my door. Obviously, it's the mother. Her kids were standing next to her. She immediately starts yelling at me as soon as I open the door. Apparently, she was going to take her kids to an amusement park, and now they didn't have a car, there's practically no way for them to go. As soon as she tells me that, I immediately chuckle, which pisses her off even more. Meanwhile, her kids are crying. "Mummy, I really want to go." Me being the insensitive arsehole, I point at the kid and let out a big ha, which causes him to start screaming like a banshee. The mum starts yelling at me, saying how much of a monster I am. I just reply with, "Get a cab, slut," and slam the door in her face. I may or may not have been a little too harsh, but that family of idiots got what they deserved. I completely agree. I love that OP got their revenge in this story. It's all well and good entitled parents being entitled, but the best stories are when they get destroyed. Entitled dad gropes me and harasses my little sister. My sister, Rosa, entitled dad ED, kids, daughter and son. I went to the swimming pool yesterday with my siblings and my mum. At this pool, there are 2 big slides, so the queue for them is pretty long as everyone wants to go on. Me and my sister are in the queue for the biggest slide when the person behind us taps my shoulder. "Yes?" "You need to move. My kids are in front of you." Now, I would have let him through if his kids were only young, but they were both adults. So I say no, because Rosa has been looking forward to going to this pool for ages, and I can tell she will get annoyed if I let this guy through. Maybe this was the wrong thing to do, but it was what I thought was right at the time. Sorry, no. The guy doesn't seem to care, so I go back to talking to Rosa. However, a few minutes later, I feel a hand on my bum and it squeezes. I spin around to look at this old creep and he just smiles at me in a "this is what you get" attitude. That's disgusting. I don't want to make a scene, so I glare at him and move closer to my sister. Not a minute later, he starts to throw water at us. Now, we haven't been in the pool yet, and this is water from this man's fat, sweaty body. Needless to say, Rosa was pissed. I stop her from saying anything as I'm scared that he will do something worse. I know looking back that's stupid and I should have made a scene, but at the time I was pretty afraid. I mean, perhaps, but in that sort of situation, it's very hard to stand up to a fat, sweaty man like that. His kids are obviously pissed at him and tell him to stop. to which he groped his own daughter's bum and smacked his son's arse. He has now leaned in between me and my sister and is brushing against me. This guy is weird. His kids go down the slide and me and Rosa go to wait at the platform, and I didn't see that sweaty idiot again, thank God. I told my mum about it and she gave me a big hug and told me that if we saw him again, she would slap him. 10 out of 10 parenting, best mum. Anyway, my sister had a great time. My mentally ill ass hated it because of the noise and the amount of people, but my mental illness is a story for another day. Anyway, that is the end of another episode of r/Entitled Parents. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, like, share and subscribe for more Reddit content from me.